Jessie Sanders, owner and chief veterinarian of Aquatic Veterinary Services. Today we will be talking about egg binding in fish. Now, this is another one of those fun internet diagnoses that unfortunately really isn't a thing. So let's talk a little bit more about fish reproduction. So fish species in the animal kingdom have one of the widest varying reproductive kind of grab bags to choose from. A lot of the fish will, make thousands upon thousands of eggs and kind of spray them all over the place and hope for the best. Other species, some species of sharks lay eggs with babies inside. Some have eggs inside them and then the babies hatch inside and might produce one pup. It might produce hundreds of pups. Really, the fish kingdom has so many different variations, but if you look specifically at koi and goldfish, a lot of owners tend to get a little scared when we tell them that their fish has eggs. Now, fish are smart. They've, evolved over thousands upon thousands of years to be very kind of self-reliable, and they're able to take care of themselves. So, a lot of the times, if the situation is not right, if their little brains are just telling them, maybe this isn't the right time to reproduce, they won't release their eggs. And that is okay. They are smarter than you when it comes to knowing if their babies will survive or not. Some ponds, you can't keep them from stopping just throwing stuff around. But if they don't release the eggs, it is okay. Now, there are some other reproductive disorders that can happen that involve the ovaries specifically, but we haven't seen this specifically with a fish that is egg-bound. There's really nothing that's blocking those eggs from coming out. If your fish isn't spawning, certainly you can try, again, making sure their water chemistry is good, making sure they're being fed appropriately. Reproducing female carp need a lot of energy, so they might need some extra nutrition in order to even make eggs that are viable. And certainly some like to have, some nice algae beds to lay the eggs, some nice plant roots. If your pond is just basic sides and nothing really for the eggs to land on, they're not really going to feel that this is a safe place for their babies to hatch. So why bother? And again, those eggs will be resorbed and the nutrition will be used elsewhere, and then next spring they'll try again. And that's just the way it goes. The fact that your fish didn't lay eggs really isn't a big deal. If your pond is already overstocked, please don't try to make babies. Only if you have the room for more fish. And again, for koi, 250 gallons of fish. Goldfish, 20 to 100 gallons of fish. If they're not spawning, it's not the worst thing in the world. But again, always double check that your water chemistry is appropriate and you're feeding a good diet. But if your fish don't spawn, that's not a bad thing. Certainly the females, they might look a little puffy if they don't spawn, but the eggs will just be resorbed and used next year. But again, there are other reproductive disorders that could look like a fish is full of eggs, but they're really not. And that, unfortunately, you're going to need an aquatic veterinarian. We have an ultrasound that we're able to scan into the body of a fish, and that gives us a lot better idea of, is this eggs? Is this a cyst? Is this a tumor? So, fish not letting go of their eggs, not really the worst thing in the world, again, if the fish is healthy, but if you're concerned, please contact your aquatic veterinarian. So hopefully we've kind of explained why this egg binding thing really isn't actually a disease. If you have any more questions about fish or fish health, please visit our website at cafishvet.com. At Aquatic Veterinary Services, fish are treated like family.